What is going on, guys? BCD here, back with another quick video, and today we're going to be talking about this Hunted Apex Legends Hunted update with the patch notes. It's so much to cover that I kind of wanted to make a video on it, just talk about it and kind of give my perspective on it, because man, oh man, is it a beautiful thing to see a bunch of changes that actually make sense. Key highlights for now, just so you guys are aware of what you're going to get into. They have finally fixed controller tap to interact or hold to interact. So now, if you're downed or you're trying to pick someone up, but you're standing over them, you're trying to reload, you're trying to use their shield as a cover, you can just tap to reload or, hold to pick them up. It's no longer have to look up at the sky, and obviously this is just a controller thing, but it's very serious to me. So one of the best quality of life changes they have done in a very long time. It's amazing. But let's get into the patch notes. If you don't know who Vantage is, he is the new Season 14 character. She's going to have a lot of sniper abilities, and she's going to be really cool. So definitely check out her overview, her gameplay overview. There's a lot of information there, especially with the Reforged King's Canyon. So much more information there as well in regards to like all the changes that have occurred for this map. Like they have literally broken down everything, and it's extensive. And I think this King's Canyon is their best version yet. I haven't played it yet, but simply because they have made avenues and paths so much easier to predict. Like they took a lot of the unpredictability, all of the extra lanes, the shortcuts, all the trash is gone. They added in the Skull Town, or they call it the Relic now, and it looks pretty good. It's going to have a much bigger expanded map, and obviously where it used to be nothing, it's going to be Skull Town there now. So, or Relic. They did a lot of fixing to the cage, making it a lot more smoother, and they also did a lot of cool things for all of those pass-through areas, relay and things like that, where it didn't make sense for them to be so cumbersome, and it kind of ended up being the fight spot when it really should just been a pass-through spot. So they did a lot of fixes there, which are really cool. But the big bulk of this, like major changes, level cap increase. You're now going to be able to get up to 544 new Apex packs, guaranteeing you if you play long enough, which probably will take a long time, to get you a heirloom for free. I don't know if that's a big incentive anymore, because honestly, they don't matter that much. They're cool for a little bit, but you really don't need them to be good at the game. But it's something there. At least they're giving away one for free if you play thousands and thousands of hours. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the season ranked, like all that update there. They doing like some new thing with how they do the splits. Honestly, I think it's worse. Entry costs 5, but they did bring back being able to get RP from kills and not being like diminishing returns if on elimination. So they did do that. They added the laser sight. Laser sight is a new attachment to replace the barrels on the SMGs and pistols, and reduce the hip fire spread. So basically, they're adding in something that's going to allow controller players to do better on laser sights with hip fire, as well as mouse and keyboard. But mostly, I believe it's for controller. I know it's a lot of aim assist with the controller, but those laser sights are meant for controller folks, in my opinion. Crafting rotations, Wingman returns to the floor, Car SMG returns to the floor, Devotion and the RE45 plus a hammer point goes into the crafter. RE45 is going to be crazy this season. I guarantee it. It's going to be crazy because of this, plus the changes that they're coming with that as well. So the gold weapon rotation is going to be the longbow. It's going to be the Mozambique, R99, and the Hemlock, and the G7 Scout. SMG's base fire, hip fire. The base hip fire spread has been increased because of the laser sights, which is going to decrease it. Assault rifles, the base hip fire spread has been increased as well. EVA 8 got so many good changes. Like if you look through these, like they removed the one pellet from the blast pattern, but they added damage per pellet, and they increased the rate of fire. Then they increased the rate of fire with the bolt. This thing is going to be nasty, especially when they also added in the double tap trigger for this. Like, this is going to be a really powerful gun. Hopefully it's not too, crazy, but I'm welcoming the change because shotguns are necessary, and they're supposed to basically, this is the counter to SMGs. With laser sights, it's the EVA 8 with this extra great rate of fire. The Bocek bow, because it's basically getting that care package treatment, it's going in there, so it's going to be getting a buff on the damage, increase on the draw speed. It's going to get those fired arrows can no longer be collected. I don't know for sure why, but arrow spawn have been removed from the floor entirely, obviously because it's going in the care package, but I guess they don't want you recollecting damage and getting more, shots, as if you imagine you can get Kraber shots back. It's just ridiculous. So obviously that's the same thing. The Rampage Lmg, one of my favorite weapons, is going into the care package, and it's taking its damage increase from 28 to 28 from 26, and then it's going to be dropping with a thermite grenade all the time. The Volt SMG, it's been reduced because it's coming out the care package. The Car SMG no longer takes barrel attachments because of the laser sight being replacing it. The G7 Scout is going damage reduced from 36 to 24. Headshot multiplier has been reduced. Obviously, again, it's getting that coming out the care package treatment. It needs to be nerfed. The L-Star is something that I thought would not need a nerf, but not need a buff, but it is getting one, which is nice. It's going to take a little bit more time to overheat, and then they're also going to be removing that flash when you hit non-armored targets. So it makes it a little bit easier to control, a little bit easier to see. Now, the RE45 is the one I'm really interested about. It's increased iron sight field of view to 70 to be consistent with the other pistols, because I never even knew that it was different, to be honest with you, but it's nice to know that's going to be in line with the other ones. And then they increased the strafe speed. I thought the RE45 was really good strafe speed, and it's the auto pistol. So not only is it going to be getting better at, being able to strafe with, but it's also getting a better spread on the hip fire. So it's going to be all around a much easier to control weapon, but also still accurate. And it's going to be like I said, with these changes, plus the hammer point is going to be in the crafter every time. The only thing I'm worried about is that it is a initial drop weapon, and now that it's not going to be an initial drop because you're going to have to craft it, what's going to be the real point there? Obviously, everybody know the big change is the wingman now going to have super sniper ammo and magazines. I understand this change, and me and my friend Josh was talking about it, but basically what we came to an agreement is that we don't want it to come into a Destiny situation. We don't want it to be a Destiny situation where they're changing the economy to kind of combat people utilizing weapons more frequently. I don't think that's the change here. Obviously, I just think that they are trying to introduce and more so balance the way the drops for the weapons and their ammo works. So them moving the Spitfire to light, they're trying to decrease the amount of heavy out there, which is cool because we're going to be getting a new sniper character, and we're going to be also wanting to get, because we're going to get away from the Rampage being on the floor. The Spitfire is going to be light, so it's going to try to, get back to normality when it comes to heavy, because I was so used to seeing heavy that I always run a heavy weapon or a heavy light, that it never made sense to not use a heavy weapon. 30-30 repeater in the Spitfire. The Spitfire, like I said, is going to light. 30-30 repeater is now going to have the dual loader attached to it. I never really cared to use either of the modes. I always used it as a long range weapon. So skull piercer rifling, that hop up is probably going to be the biggest change is that it can do more damage from afar. It was already a monster when it came to just like damage. It was just like a learning curve on how to use it. But once you learn how to use it, it was pretty okay actually. The Mastiff is being projectiles is being reduced. The base fire rate is reduced, and then the dual loader removed. It's basically coming out of the care package as well. I'm pretty sure. Um, Actually, no. It's still going to be in there. I just don't know why they did that. Oh, Mastiff isn't in the care package right now. I'm drunk. All right, Sentinel. Deadeye's tempo has been, worked into the base Sentinel, so that Deadeye's tempo, so that you can actually shoot faster if you get like a pretty good shot, and you like the reload times will make it better. So it's actually really good for the Sentinel because it does suffer from just having a longer reload speed than any other weapons. So the biggest other one, the hop ups are fine. I don't really want to talk too much about that. 35% headshot damage, 35% headshot damage increase on longbow wingman. 30 repeater is nasty, but we'll see how that goes. The backpack has changed a lot. It's now got deep pockets, so it basically can now carry 3 batteries on stacked, med kits stacked, and then 2 Phoenix kits stacked in 1 inventory slot. The knockdown shield now gets the backpack perk where it can now give you some more health back once you get picked up. And then the self revive is moved all together. I never thought the self revive was necessary. I thought it never worked right, and it barely helped you out. So I just never needed it. So yeah, don't really care that that's me leaving. To be honest with you, what I do care about is they're reducing stick damage from 40 to 10 on the arc star. I feel like you work hard to hit them people, and for it to be only 10, it's like that's worse than Fusey's thing. And I'm just like, you worked hard to kind of stick somebody. It makes sense not to be remove the aim slow once you stick, but to reduce the amount of damage it does. It's kind of weird. So I really wish they would have kept that, but maybe it falls in line with the other grenades. Explosive holds, they kind of nerfed them a little bit, where they added blue attachments. Valk got nerfed super hard, which I already knew was coming because she had her, heirloom, and she was at peak Valk season, and now she is being nerfed. A lot of changes here that really kind of accumulate to her not being as good as she was. It's not too drastic. It's really about slowing her down as she move around, and then it's also about her missile swarms being reduced in damage and radius, or not, I'm sorry, not damage but radius, and then also just being decreased in her duration for moving slow. Like, her missile swarms don't do too much. It's not as bad as it was before. So yeah, and she has a little slower takeoff, so that she could potentially get knocked out of the sky even better, worse. So they nerfed her. I want to see how it works and how it comes out, but overall, it could be a little much, but I doubt it. It doesn't seem that bad. Horizon got a little bit of a nerf. Her black hole, her newt, is now going to take 50% more damage from explosives, and then her hitbox for it is becoming more reliable, so you can actually damage it, break it. Watson got improvements to her perimeter security placement system, whatever that means. Newcastle finally got a buff that I thought he probably needed since his inception, because he was just came in at a weird time where we had a lot of good characters, and Newcastle just did not fit the defensive, especially with Rampart being buffed and her having a minigun on her. They increased his move speed during revive by 25%. They reduced the turn slow while reviving by 50%. So you can actually move and turn. You can actually turn a lot faster. He increased his white knockdown shield health from 150 to 200. Increased the blue knockdown shield health from 250 to 300. Mobile shields was increased his HP from 350 to 500, making it so much better to actually defend and push up, because people would just eat that 350 quickly, and you just be sitting there like a sitting duck. And then they doubled the max movement speed on it, so it even moves closer faster. So even if they are shooting it at the same velocity or the timing, you can actually still close the gap a lot better. So I love all these changes for Newcastle. Like, Newcastle was a very good defensive character. He just needed a little bit of buffs to help him out in areas, and this is what it's going to do to help him. And then they added the turn slow to electrical barrier effects and increase the severity of the slow effect. So even now, his castle wall is going to be even more impactful when it comes to placing it and stopping people from pushing you. Now, it still need work. I like his shield walls, but it really is meant for up higher, locations. You really don't want to be on the same level as the people that you're fighting, because all they're going to do is keep swarming you, and it's like you're the sitting duck at that point. So you need to either advantage or you need a height advantage. That's just some play for me when it comes to Castle and his walls. But Maggie's riot drill, her projectile launch speed is doubled, so that's good. She really got a good decent buff, and she needed it too. Her wrecking ball will travel twice as far and dropping the same amount of magnets. Her duration is increased from 5 seconds to 10 seconds. Her magnet spawn delay increased from zero point 0.4 seconds to zero point 0.8. Her wrecking ball deal damage to enemies' placeable objects. Like, that is amazing. Black markets, castle walls, exhibits, death totems, mobile shields, black holes, amped cover, gas barrels, and this is the best one. It will also destroy Gibraltar's dome of protection. Nothing could destroy that. Nothing. Nothing could destroy that in this game. They gave it to Mad Maggie. I really hope this changes the game, because it sucks when you got a Gibraltar that just throws his shield down and nothing can break it. If her wrecking ball is thrown in the right way and it just smacks him out of it, dude, like that little change right there is amazing. It's amazing for balance. It's amazing for picking fights. It's just all around it's just a better situation for her, especially because her tactical sucked. It sucks so bad. Like, not her tactical, I'm sorry, her ultimate just sucked. Even if it only broke Gibraltar's protection and nothing else, that would still be an A plus in regards to a change. Like, I don't care about the rest of that stuff. As long as it breaks his protection dome, she has a purpose now. But it don't help that she can also it doesn't it's so nice that she can also break castle walls, death totem, mobile shields, blah blah blah. Like, she's gonna go up in pick rate, definitely. Rampart got now her amp cover. Ignores placements and people being around you. It just goes through it. It's fine that way now. Caustic's his gas ramping bug, where transitioning from failing to enemy gas would initially damage you for more than intended. It's gone. Mirage decoys got better at psyching out seers. It can now be scanned when skydiving for Valk, and it also fixed a bug where the decoys were picked up as AI and not players. Revenant's Death Tone will now show a placement preview. Blah blah blah. Crafting updates. Doesn't really matter. Maps. I really hate that they took away Olympus, but it's going to be Kings Canyon, World's Edge, and Storm Point. Ew. But whatever. It is what it is. They also did some changes to the ring, so don't be in it that much. Like, you ain't got that much time no more. So I'm assuming this is a way to get people to get back into the fight a lot more often, but they did some changes and tweaking to the ring adjustment, to the ring for you. World's Edge, they removed some, frustrating final rings and some Fragment East loot buffed from low tier to medium. They added, I don't know what that OOB stands for, to be honest with you. They added something West Rocks at the Lava Siphon. Quality of life stuff, the big one. Added the ability to use tap interact prompts when they conflict with hold. Reloading near down teammates is now a lot more reliable. Ooh, thank the Lord, thank the Lord. When dropping from the dropship, the location of the POI player lands is now displayed. But yeah, they got some bug fixes. But yeah, you can read that stuff at a later point. But this is pretty much the patch notes. Like, this is a lot of changes. But this is like the norm for every season. They basically go back and they look at every weapon every time. The most things you really should be excited for is the controller update. To be honest, the new person, I think Mad Maggie and Newcastle are going to be very good. Eva 8 is going to be solid. The RE45. Um, I don't really think the Wingman and the Spitfire change is going to change too much, but I mean, I could be wrong too. But overall, this is looking really solid, looking really fun, and it's looking like it's going to be a heck of a better time than most. So I'm happy. You guys should be happy too. I'm not telling you to feel a certain way, but I think this is a solid start for a new actual season, definitely. But that's pretty much it for me. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, I will talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.